In this section, we will talk product quality and touch points. Quality, or rather qualities, are what's used to gauge the value of our offering. We often think of a quality product as being the best at something, but how should it be the best? We'll cover touch points in this section as well because they help us render value and customers use them to evaluate quality. So what is quality? Well, from a marketing perspective, quality means a product's ability to satisfy a customer's needs or requirements. Really, it's best to think qualities because there may be a combination of factors that customers or other entities are using to gauge the product's value at something. So that brings us to the next question. Quality based on what? Good quality as in being good at what criteria? An important part of product quality is understanding the quality or qualities you're aiming for. So, first of all, we covered that quality is based on the needs of the customer or evaluating unit. This will vary criteria we use to determine quality. For example, let's talk toys. Are you evaluating a $1 bargain bin toy, a holiday must-have gift, an innovative airplane take-along toy in toddler studies? Sometimes the buyer just wants a flimsy toy that's cheap and not a big deal to lose. Speaking of which, product categories do tend to come with certain quality assumptions. So for example, we will have lower safety expectations for fireworks, but expect a child's toy to be mostly harmless with typical use. That being said, quality is often relative based on alternative options you're comparing against. What competing products or options do they have? These can be both stable or temporary decisions or comparisons. So for example, a new bakery is seen as a reasonably priced with tasty desserts. Evaluations could shift if a customer had just visited a hometown bakery or likewise a bakery they really hated. This leads us to the final item. Quality tends to be subjective. There's a lot of variation for any one customer's point of view for how they're evaluating. So going further, customers often vary on what criteria should be most important and how they will evaluate such. So take a look at, say, your laptop or perhaps a car. In what way would you determine if it was high quality or not? Would your friend or family member agree? Here's an example. When evaluating dining service, my spouse observes whether he ever finds his coffee cup empty. And so even if we all agree on a top characteristic or factor to use, we still may not necessarily judge by those same benchmarks. For example, customer experience may vary what they perceive as a friendly restaurant server. Do they expect the server to be smiling or that they'll stop to chit-chat? To some, a server will seem maybe a little formal, and to others, that smile counts as a pretty gigantic grin. And so either way, remember quality is all about needs. Now it's just a matter of figuring out what customers are using to evaluate quality and how they expect it presents itself. All right, as an activity, I encourage you to try looking at a product of your choice, perhaps your project product. What list of qualities would you generate? How might a customer determine its quality? How might this vary across segments? And as a game, could a person look at your qualities list and guess the kind of product or product category it is? So I encourage you to give it a shot. And here, in fact, are some examples from past classes where they too listed the qualities they felt their customers might find important. And you'll notice sometimes it'll take a few guesses, but you can often see that there are some much easier to figure out than others. And so you want, basically, the better the target market can recognize a product's qualities, the better. Even if someone's not able to immediately guess you should be able to recognize a good fit if you were to find the answer. Meanwhile, the more vague your qualities are, the more likely you might not be adequately capturing how exactly your customers are evaluating your product. Not to say they'll always say what they actually want or know, but it doesn't hurt. For example, quite a few of these, convenience and price, are common factors. They're a good start, but general enough that you will want to elaborate. Many products provide convenience or good prices, but what does it mean? Relating to the classic examples of millennials and cereal, there were reports that cereal is inconvenient. However, it would be wrong to just assume all millennials opted for even simpler or easier breakfast foods. Instead, many picked higher time and effort choices, but which produced a larger payoff. So either way, I invite you to give these activities a try, and if you want, the answers are in the notes. A major issue with services is that their inconsistent and less tangible nature makes it more difficult for the customer to be able to evaluate service quality. Therefore, customers use other major cues to evaluate quality. And there are many ways, therefore, for us to signal good service that go beyond the immediate service itself. So first, we have reliability. This is being able to dependably and consistently render a service. So was the service done as promised? Was the service done when and where as promised? How dependable are we? Next, responsiveness. How well do the service representatives respond? Do they have the information when it was needed? Was it prompt? Did they seem willing and ready for the customer? So you can imagine this one is very important to how we serve you at University Laverne Online. Tangibility. This is the way we use many tangible qualities, such as the atmosphere or the quality of the papers given to us as cues. One of the key precepts to service is to make intangibles tangible, because it is easier for customers to take in quality when it's that more concrete thing through their five senses. So what can we see in our imagination? What can we imagine touching or smelling? For example, think of a sweeping grand lobby, fancy stationery, warm cookies at the front desk, soft cushions, chocolates on hotel pillows. Those are more likely to make you remember a hotel service as high quality. So again, things like appearance of the tangibles, those facilities, equipment, down to like papers, and the appearance of the employees. And we can count not only just dress code, but things like action. So some places may encourage their employees to be active and moving as a way to convey the hustle and bustle of a business. So key to this, remember, what we will want to focus or sense will depend on our expectations, though. So we anticipate a bakery should smell good. We anticipate a hotel has courteous and smiling staff. We anticipate and expect a gym probably is hopping and active, although some will be calmer. We anticipate and expect a law firm or accounting branch will be more subdued and have serious people and atmospheres. Assurance. This quality, this is the way employees instill a sense of confidence and well-being in their customers. The idea that they have you covered. This doesn't have to be something like you think they're your friend. It may be as simple as a fast food restaurant. You feel the drive-thru employee took the time to listen and make sure your order was properly entered into the computer. And then that's also why they often have a visual display these days as well. So this includes confidence in the employees or brand, feeling safe, consistent respect. And you'll see this break down during many public relation disasters. For example, when companies learn they experience data breaches, but they take overly long to inform their customers. This breach in responsiveness comes to hurt assurance. Another example, UC Davis, their brand was hurt when it came to like their chancellor hired marketing firms that stressed very reactive solutions to their prior PR crises, that is bearing bad information, which to outsiders and stakeholders didn't bode well for how else they were taking care of university affairs. Finally, empathy. That's the ability to convey individualized attention. So basically caring or they seem to be caring or having your best interests at heart. And again, this will vary. At a dry cleaning store, you might just want them to give you your shirt or dress. No fuss, no muss. However, at a bank, you may demand higher service of this sort. First Republic Bank advertised on the radio the courteousness and problem-solving ability of their representatives as a marker of the quality of their services. So, touching on this is total quality management. This is a philosophy that asserts you must manage quality in a holistic way where quality is a constant process of understanding its customers, and quality must be a priority at all levels of the organization. The idea is that quality is derived, in fact, from all levels of the organization, which means it must be understood and monitored at all levels of the organization, especially at top management. We talked the criteria. Let's talk further on touch points as ways customers derive satisfaction and evaluate the qualities of your offering. Touch points are all points of contact or interactions between customers and an organization. This includes everything: advertisements, social media posts, company websites, if there are billing statements, there are interactions with employees, things like wiper blades at a gas station, push notifications confirming a form submission, surveys, everything. And this includes whether or not it's from us. Customers will use whatever they perceive. So we want to consider auxiliary touch points as well, like word of mouth from past customers, interactions with other brand users, online reviews on us, and more. So here's a few examples from a credit union or bank. The actual branch, the pens inside, the way it's queued, their websites or apps, emails they send you, layouts of the banking statements, the way partner ATMs might be at the local grocery store, and more. Part of your planning will be to determine what touch points you should use. For example, both a real estate agent and a bank may send out customer newsletters, but they have very different purposes and how they fit with other service elements. And keep in mind, controllable and uncontrollable. Think both touch points you can control and those you cannot. Other customers can be a touch point. SNL or parodies can act as touch points. They may not officially be part of you, but they sure may represent you in the eyes of the customer. So you got to think of them all. So we often like to arrange touch points according to what we call a customer journey. The series of interactions a customer might have with us often arranged from things like awareness, information search, different kinds of exchange like purchases or downloads, use, and then back again. Here's another example of a customer journey map. Notice this one uses what's called a persona. A persona is a fictional sample customer representing the segment. It's sometimes also called a customer portrait. I posted an activity and additional items for you on the weekly class page related to customer portraits and personas. So you'll want to always have a segment or a persona like this in mind, ensure you are tailoring for your specific target market segments. Here's some more examples. These videos cover and compare how B2B touchpoint planning differs a bit from B2C. A big point to both is for B2B, you really need to think about who is making the customer journey. And in this case, it's usually more than one person in that buying center. And the second point they both make is the level of interaction expected. Here are some examples of different tools to create touch points. This nice chart by Hugo Amslam is helpful for, quote, quote, arming the creators, as he puts it. And it's nicely organized by organizational objectives. The link in the notes includes further commentary on each of these tools. So you will want to do your research and track if customers are going through the journey as you anticipate and using the touch points as you anticipate. This bar chart is about how customers tend to find out about new products in general. Here's a bar chart describing what sources of information for products B2C customers tend to use to envision the many kinds of touch points you might want to consider. A big part of the process is always checking back on those touch points. This handy video gives 5 common touch point and customer journey mapping mistakes, for example. And this example from your book is called a customer contact audit, which links up customer actions and organizational actions in a very nice process chart. It's helpful to ensure you're not only thinking about what you do, but what customers are actually experiencing. For example, you might notice there's a gap between one touch, say your welcome desk, and what touch point your customer sees instead, maybe the area right before the welcome desk. Let's wrap up product quality and give you one final activity. So first, product quality is all about how it fulfills customer needs, and it's often both relative and subjective. Next, quality assessments are often made throughout the whole journey, throughout many exchanges. You can't just look at the purchase occasion or use alone. Finally, quality is key to how customers evaluate you and therefore drives customer satisfaction. Okay, here's the activity I promised. Figure out some touch points now for yourself and maybe try to map them out. So what are some possible touch points for your product? Which might seem to be the most important? For who and when? And then which are easiest to change or improve, which are not? I highly advise you envision what a customer encounters throughout their decision process, their use, their evaluation times, and just all over. Keep going through that whole journey. Consider all sorts of exchanges and interactions between you and that customer. Okay, that wraps it up. Next, we'll be talking product lines and all that good stuff. Hope you're taking care out there. Bye-bye.